Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 165 of the Top Loaded podcast. And before I get into this episode, a massive thanks to the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, great preparation kits, or whatever your hobby needs, head over to their website, check the link in the bio, or head over to their shop and use the code TTP10 at checkout. That's TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your whole order. And there's quite a few different talking points this week. A bit more of a relaxed one. I have some pickups as promised in the last episode from a couple of weeks ago. But more importantly, as a disclaimer for anyone out there, especially you guys in the UK, if you are sending to the United States of America, the Royal Mail have temporarily suspended all shipping to the United States due to the tariffs, which will be coming in very shortly by Donald Trump. Royal Mail are working on a new system, which will come into place soon. It will be an additional charge, I believe 50p per item. But at this moment in time, there is no shipping from the United Kingdom to United States via Royal Mail. So just keep that in mind if you are selling any cards across the seas. Obviously, if it's on eBay, the global shipping program will have you covered. Royal Mail will deal with it. But just keep that in mind if you are sending any cards off your own back across the ocean. Over to a few talking points, and I think there's only one place to start. The Premier League is back, which is fantastic. As of recording this, obviously the Tuesday as it comes out, we are 2 weeks into the Premier League season. I'm quite intrigued because we got the first batch of top snails from the game week 1, but I don't get it. I don't get the point. Like, so you have 10 fixtures in match week 1, but all right, there's some games which are going to be stinkers that no one cares about. No one wants any top snails from it. There's always going to be someone who wants it, but I don't agree with having 2 cards from the same game. I think it was like Liverpool, they done Salah and Ekatike. Man City, I think they done Ryan Shirky and Tiani Reinders. I understand having one from. I personally think it should be one from each winning team. So, obviously, if it's like a 5-all draw and someone scores 5 goals, but I think like tops what they should do is if your team wins, you get a card. So, for example, from the weekend which just been, Burnley got their first victory back in the Premier League over Sunderland, winning 2-0. So they should get a card. I think that's quite an easy concept. We haven't seen game week 2. I'm actually going to check this live while we're checking it just to see if whilst I'm doing this, they haven't uploaded anymore. But it should be, in my personal opinion, it should be 2. Not you should only have 1 person. Right. So there's currently 18 hours of recording, 18 hours left of match week 1 tops nows, which were as following. Estavio for Chelsea. Then it was from the Liverpool versus Bournemouth game. There was 3, which was Mohamed Salah, Hugo Ekatike, Antoine Semenyo. And then it was Ryan Shirky, Tiani Reinders. So there were 6 cards from game week 1. 2 from the Wolves Man City game, 3 from the Liverpool Bournemouth game, and 1 from the Chelsea game. But personally, I think that's wrong. I know they only care about the bottom line tops, but sure, I would personally have it as 1 per game. So Arsenal winning at Man United, you get a Ricardo Calafiori scoring the winning goal, or one of the debutants making their debuts. From another game, you get another one. So I think it should be maximum of 10 per week, 1 per game. Okay, there's special exceptions, maybe like a debut or something like that. But I don't agree with having 3 from the same game and having quite a few games not represented. Obviously, we now know the pricing going forward for the top snails Premier Leagues. So just if you was ordering just 1 base card, it would work out at £8.99 before shipping. 5 cards is at £33.99, which works out at £6.80 per card. If you're ordering 10 cards, it works out at £58.99p, which equates to £5.90 per card. Or if you're ordering 20, then it's £97.99 at £4.90 per card. And obviously, for anyone who's ordering any cards, if you do use the code GBW10 at checkout, you do save an extra 10% as well, which is really good on the big bundles. If you're ordering 20 cards, you can get it for less than 90 quid. So for the ones that we've seen so far, and I'm going to take the Mohamed Salah, for example, the parallels which you're going to be able to get is obviously the base card, and then you're going to get it to 50, which is gold, to 25 orange, to 10 black, 5 which is red, and the 1 foil fractor. So that is 80, 90, 91 cards if my math calculations is correct. 91 cards of parallels which you'll be able to get. So obviously one would speculate that the Mohamed Salah will do quite a few thousand. So you just got to please remember, even ordering 20 is not guarantee you in a parallel. Obviously, there'll be some releases for some cards which only maybe get a couple of hundred, and then 20 you're near enough guaranteed one. However, it's a big gamble. I've taken the gamble in the past and it's paid off, and at the same time, it hasn't paid off. So now we're seeing a lot more of the tops nows come into fruition. It's going to be quite intriguing because seeing their print run, we can analyze that every week. Obviously, these ones are still on sale, so we can't see their print runs for the moment. But Premier League season is here. It's going to be quite an intriguing season. I think the first couple of weeks have showed us quite a bit. Certain teams struggling, certain teams looking good. Transfer market is now really ramping up. As of recording this, I think it's just over about 6 days left now. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season ahead, window ahead. Also for the card market in comparison to the Premier League season, we're already seeing similarities between the market rises of certain players and also transfers to their card prices. Obviously, one of the big ones, you can't see it, but I've got it just here. Abir Eza has signed for Arsenal, which is one of I don't think I've been this excited for a signing since Ozil signed for Arsenal. But some of his prices have been doing very good numbers. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that the Arsenal market is absolutely mental. It's a very cutthroat market, very keen. A lot of people going after the same cards. So that's going to be very intriguing to see if they do a tops now, maybe for him signing for Arsenal. But another one to talk about, and let me know in chat because I want to kind of dissect. I'm going to try and do predictions as well of what tops nows I think you will be able to see coming up. So if you think this segment's rubbish, let me know. But I kind of want to do a bit more looking into the Premier League as well as just cards. So if we look at game week 2, I think it's quite obvious one of the cards which will be available when they do get released, which one would presume very soon. It's a trick. It's a trickier one, but I think there's two ways of doing this for the Everton Brighton game. There's one really cool way of doing it of being the new stadium tops now card, or Jack Grealish to assist on his debut for Everton, or be the Hill Dickinson Stadium first competitive game. So that's going to be quite intriguing. So I think that you'll see one of them two as the tops now for that week. And then looking at, if we look through all the games, Friday night, which see West Ham get destroyed by Chelsea 5-1. If we look at the actual thing, I would presume if we do get any from this game, it's going to be João Pedro. I believe he got a goal and 2 assists. So I could see if there's any tops nows from that game, be João Pedro. I would presume, sadly, Tottenham will get one for beating Man City at the Etihad like they do every season, it seems, at the moment. Probably if I was guessing on that one, I'd probably say it'd be Brennan Johnson because I think he got a goal and assist in that win. The Bournemouth Wolves game was 1-0. I don't think we'll see a tops now from this one. Similar to, actually, Brentford versus Villa, there's a chance because Wataro, their new signing, Dango Wataro from Bournemouth, was the goal scorer on his debut to seal the 3 points. So that's a chance. Then again, like just mentioned, the Burnley game, that's got a good chance of getting the tops now because that's their first game back, first win back in the Premier League. And then on to the Arsenal Leeds game, and there's quite a few it could be for this game. I think the obvious choice, it's not even an obvious choice in this game. So there was the unveiling for Eze before the game, which could be a tops now. Yuri and Timber got 2 goals and an assist, which could be a card. You have Victor Gyökeres scoring his first 2 goals for Arsenal as well, doing the celebration, which could be a card. And then I don't believe they're allowed to print Max Dowman cards at the moment because he's still 15. But when he turns 16, I believe they can make cards. So I'm going to say there'll be no Max Dowman for the moment, but be prepared. People think Ethan Nwaneri's market was big when he was really coming into the scene. You wait to see Dowman's prices because I've never seen a player like him at his age going through the academy setup. Moving on to the Palace Forest game, which finished 1-1. I don't presume to see any from that game. We touched on the Everton one. Fulham Man U, yeah, again, I don't think we'll see one for that one. And then for the Newcastle Liverpool game, which was Monday Night Football, which was a great game of football. I think there's only really one person it can be, which is, correct me if the pronunciation is wrong, Rio Ngoma. That's the tops now. His card prices have been going quite well. He's currently featured in Premier League set, which has come out, and his card prices have been doing unbelievable numbers already. I'm seeing like to 199s do like 50 quid. Obviously scoring at the age of 16 at St James's Park, last minute winner, is worthy of a tops now if you're ever going to get one. So I would presume to see that one. So I think there could be 6 again this week. And I think it's going to be quite intriguing to track it through the season, to see how well these cards are going to do the tops now. So I'm personally a massive fan of them. I will probably pick up some here and there. If they do an Eze signing for Arsenal one, I probably will end up picking up one of that. But I know a lot of people out there really like the tops nows, me included. And I think they're going to do very, very well. And for people who haven't seen the foils for the tops nows since they've restarted doing them, I heavily recommend them. They are beautiful cards in person. I'm very fortunate. I got quite a few from the Women's Champions League final. Just picked up a Stina to 25, and I've got another Kim Little to 25. They're just absolutely stunning cards. So the tops nows are going to be very intriguing to follow and to see how they progress along the season, capturing the moments. It's something that Panini could have done with Instance, but they never done it for the Premier League, which was a big shame. But there'll be some big moments captured this year via tops nows. And moving away from the Premier League for a moment, and looking ahead to something that I think is going to be quite an interesting talking point is this won't actually mostly interest most people, but at the end of September, the NBA season is commencing, and Panini lose the rights to the NBA this year as well. So it's not just the Premier League they lose this year, Panini, it is the NBA as well. And just a quick one, it's going to go crazy in the NBA world for cards because they brought out a silhouette set that's one of the best sets of all time in terms of some of the patches you can get in it. It was followed the next couple of days by Optic, and you still got Flawless, Automac, and all of these sets to come out before they lose a license to top. So that's going to be a really intriguing one to cover for you NBA fans out there or American sports fans. Personally, I can't wait to see. Part of me is like, I wish they don't leave Panini because it's iconic, but it's still going to be quite cool to see what tops do with the license. And I think it's going to be there's going to be similarities between tops with the Premier League and tops with the NBA to see what they've got to do. And for me, I'm going to be a bit biased of we get to see the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Orlando Magic at the O2 Arena in London, which I'm really hoping to get tickets for. January, that's an official NBA match. So I'm hoping that they do an event at the store in London for it, which would be really cool. Maybe get a couple of players down. Obviously, dreams get like a Paolo Banchero down or even a Ja Morant, but who knows what's going to happen down the line. But going back to soccer, as obviously most of you here, and I want to have a conversation about grading. I know it's talked about a lot, and I'm seeing PSA invest a lot more in like YouTubers in terms of like advertisement. And I'm quite cautious at the moment when it comes to grading, and I've personally been on a hiatus from grading for about 3 months now, due to the fact of their turnaround times are not great at the moment. SGC, like I'm trying to, in the nicest possible way, we might as well start getting their ceremony in place for SGC, and it's passing away because PSA don't care about it. They only care about PSA. SGC is getting run into the floor, and it's sad to see. It's one of my favorite grading companies, but the days are numbered for PSA. So, sorry, for SGC, and it's a very big shame to see. So that's another like player out in the field. Beckett, in comparison to 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's never nowhere as close as what it is. I sent tickets off 3 months ago at Beckett, still waiting back for them. And then CGC is doing very well in like the TCG world and like the vintage world, but still not the same. And PSA, I feel at the moment, and probably I would say for quite a few years now, they've not really had a competitor. And I'm a personal believer, it doesn't matter what it is, any line of work, any football team, any sports team, whatever it is, if you don't have competition, you don't keep striving for the best. And I think PSA have got quite lazy recently, and I don't hold them to blame because Jesus Christ, they are a very busy company. However, it is taking a lot longer. I'm hearing people saying 4 or 5 months for PSA returns, and it's one of them that after the pandemic they got it down really well. It was going really smooth, and then it's tailing back up. I know they're getting really busy. Again, obviously, piggybacking off about a month ago of the National, so they had a lot more intake. However, especially for the UK and the upcoming tariffs that Donald Trump's bringing in, it's going to lead to a lot of speculation as well as uncertainty, not just from the everyday collector, but also middlemen services as well. Of will my cars get done at customs? Will this affect me being able to send stuff? Because shipping companies are still in a bit of the unknown as well. So I'm quite intrigued to see in the long run how PSA start branching out in Europe, and how long is it until they bring up a European store, European like grading center? Because if you think about it, obviously Japan have their own grading centers now, and Europe is a massive market, and not to have one grading center at the moment, I think is something that needs to be explored. Slash, it might already be explored anyway that we just not in the loop. So my question, I think I have to ask to people of, especially who are in the UK, of, are you grading at the moment? If so, how long is it taking? Are you happy with the turnaround times? And do you think it's about time that PSA? Thing is, you got to remember as well, for us in the UK, because of obviously Brexit, if it goes to mainland Europe, there'd be taxes and charges anyway. The only way, obviously, it really benefits us if PSA come into UK. So I'm quite intrigued to see that in the long run. Personally, I've stopped grading for the moment. To be fair, the last couple of weeks I haven't really been buying cars. I've been trying to keep it quiet since the National. Starting to buy a couple of bits here and there. Picked up some nice cards. Picked up a lovely Leo Valdi autograph and numbered card from good friend LGL, who hit them in the break. Picked up the Steiner, as I referenced earlier. And I bought a Beth Mead 5 from Merlin, which should be here in the next couple of days. But another talking point, and I was having this discussion with a few other people the other day, of what motivates people in the hobby. Because there's quite a few different approaches to have within the hobby. And I think this is what makes it either a hobby, a business, or both for people. You've got the people who want to make money. Fair enough. People start saying bad words, but as long as you're invested in cards, it's one of them that the full circle is always going to happen, and you're always going to have someone breaking or someone buying, for someone to be selling, for someone to be buying, or someone to be breaking, then selling, then buying. It's just an endless loop which requires everything. It's like the like animals in the wild. This animal needs this animal needs that animal, and it's just a life cycle. So it's quite intriguing because I've been having thoughts of how do I want my hobby experience to be like this time in a month, this time in 3 months, this time in 6 months. And obviously people who are regular listeners of the podcast would know that I'm going to say women's football is my passion. I don't think that's a thing of people that actually don't think I go men's football anymore. I love men's football. I go there every single week. Even if it's not Arsenal, I go to Leyton Orient, Queen's Park Rangers at times as well to watch football because I just love football. Obviously, Arsenal is the passion. Don't ever miss a game, same as the women's. But when I was younger, and people might have never said this, to be honest, on the podcast. One of my dreams when I was younger was to be a football coach. I luckily achieved that by the age of 17. And after 3 months, I got to a point where I don't like this. It's in the football world, it's a very much a horrible place. However, women's football was where I started having my passion there as well. Started coaching people at the age of 16 to 18. And it was really good fun. And knowing what it can grow into, that was obviously prior. This was good 4 years prior to the first boom of the first Euros win. And now it's the same for me of we are growing a community. We are growing a hobby within the United Kingdom and the world for the women's game. And there's so many collectors out there who've just never seen cards, who have never heard of the idea of collecting their favourite women's players. So why not invent, it's just a men's thing. Women's side of the hobby is such a nice experience. The community is unbelievable. And the people are so nice. People always look out for each other. The amount of people that I just speak to on a daily basis who I get on really well with through women's cards is unbelievable. And talking to some of them is how do we take that next step from just being a bunch of card collectors to getting this out to the masses, out to more people, get more people collecting. And that's one thing I'm going to really try hard with. For people who didn't know, I launched my TikTok in like March, and it's women's only. It's a women's soccer hobby only. Just closing in on 600 followers, which I'm still shocked to this day. Just over 10,500 likes on videos as well. And it shows you that there is a women's hobby out there. And Eternity has brought a lot more people to it. However, there's so many more people to reach out to. And we're trying to work out on different ways. Whether there's a few women only show, there's a women's only show which is taking place in Birmingham in the next 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, which is a really cool one, which I'm hoping to get to, but schedule might make it that I won't be able to get there. And it's just working with different organizations, and I come back to it, Tops and Panini as well helping out. But there is a women's market there to grow, and I really do think this time in 2-3 years we'll look back and go, all of that footwork was worth it for how the women's side has grown. And it's big in America. However, I think the aura, not even aura, the allure, for women's collectors growing up now, whether they're he, she, whatever it may be, whatever religion, whatever background, are wanting to get into football. They have their idols. When I was growing up, honestly, not one of my friends knew who Kelly Smith was. Now everyone knows who Alessia Russo is. When I was growing up, no one knew who Faye White was. But now everyone knows who Leah Williamson is. So that market is out there. We're seeing women's only stuff, women's only sports store in London. So next is the women's hobby. And I think that's going to be another big growing point. Obviously, it's going to help when we get Chrome, hopefully soon, and Sapphire. And obviously the Lionesses' continued success. However, I had an idea. And I've said this same thing to people. So, for context, the last Women's World Cup, which was in Australia and New Zealand, we got Donruss. And I wonder, will we ever get Prism for the women's game and the Women's World Cup? And then in my head, I thought, what was the first Panini Prism soccer? Then I was thinking, it's the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. And the next Women's World Cup, 2027 in Brazil. So it could be really cool that both of the World Cups, men's and women's, both Brazil, 13 years apart, both the first Prism set. Obviously, that's a pipeline dream for 2 years down the line. However, that'd be really cool, I think, in my eyes, if they gave them Prism. because it is the set, and God only imagines how much a Leo Williamson gold World Cup Prism card would be. I tell you that I'll probably have to, hopefully by then, have a mortgage, but by then I might have to win the lottery a few times to be able to afford them cards. But moving on from women's football, moving on from grading, tops and everything like that. And I did promise you I would show you my pickups from the London Card Show. Another absolutely fantastic day. Just a lot of fun like usual. But I've got my pickups here. And I was always going to be, I was going to show it off, but I just didn't have them to hand. I didn't pick up that much. But this first 4-card bundle was from a good friend over at She Scores Cards. If you're not following them, what are you doing? So go and follow them. But picked up lovely lot of Foba to 50. Freedom Marnham, because I'm going for the whole set of first year gold upwards at the moment, and then I'm going to go to oranges afterwards. Chloe Lacasse, because I needed the gold parallel for Ask Forever, and then this beautiful Mariona Caldente to 5, which I recently showed off on my Instagram. And then a massive thanks to the guys over at Dub Breaks, Real Harry's World, and also GBW, who said as soon as he pulled these 3 cards, he knew what idiot was going to buy him. He didn't say idiot, but he knew it was going to be me, and I wasn't going to let anyone else buy him. So we have this absolutely lovely Stina card from Merlin. This is the image variation to 150. Leo Valdi autographed card. It's just incredible. And then this absolute beauty. Stina Blackstenius red to 5. Lovely cards. Did have actually some more. I actually had another return just prior to going to the National, which I can show off as well, because I was promised to show you this one off. First of all, we have a ticket from 2002, Arsenal versus Manchester United, when Arsenal won the league at Man United. Absolutely beautiful ticket. Just iconic one. It's the only thing I'm going to have in my personal collection with a massive Man United badge on it. And then this one I think is really cool. This is my personal ticket as well. From 2022, I believe it's 3 years ago already. Ethan Nwaneri, PSA 7, pro debut, Brentford away. Still the youngest player in Premier League history as well. That's one I will absolutely cherish that ticket. And then I have not 1, not 2, but 3 2006 Champions League final tickets, Barcelona versus Arsenal. Obviously, sadly, Arsenal did lose that game, but it was quite an iconic final, as it was Arsenal's first ever and only ever so far final appearance in the Champions League. Xavi Iniesta's first Champions League, Ronaldinho's only Champions League as well. But yeah, like I say, a massive thanks for everyone who's stuck with me for 28 minutes talking. Let me know how you think the season's going so far. And let me know how your collections are going for. What card shows are you doing next? I have got a question mark about every single show near enough coming up. I wanted to get to the Sports Card Social with Milton Keynes. However, Arsenal are playing Nottingham Forest that day, so I can't make that one. So now my next two questionable ones will be the London Card Show, which is still 2 and bits months away, or the Brighton Card Show. But until then, hope everyone, but a massive thanks yet again to the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. So if you need card supplies, custom card stands, grade preparation kits, or whatever hobby needs you require, head over to their website, check the link in our bio, or head over to their shop and use TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your whole order. And I hope everyone out there is staying safe, doing well, buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying. And good night.